Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hi. Welcome to How to Sell an Artist Alley. I'm Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Well, my AA meeting's tomorrow, but okay.
And I'm Ami.
And over here is
Austin.
Okay.
We're going to tell you about selling an artist alley. Jackie?
Here's a dog. Let's see. Well, I guess one of the first things is, why don't we just describe why we first got into Artist Alley? I guess that's a good place to start. Me personally, I love conventions, and I've always loved volunteering for them, but naturally money's a little tight, and I found that sewing was a good hobby for me. I really enjoyed it and things like that. So I wound up getting an embroidery machine, and I wound up selling embroidered visual K masks, and that's what got me started in Artist Alley, because it's mostly out of necessity, but also out of fun. So that's kind of my story. Lane.
Austin?
Okay. I started out, I was going to say 2 years ago, doing my own comics, writing and drawing and inking, and basically doing everything. And conventions were a really good way to promote that. It's kind of like I'm paying for advertisement, but I'm also able to make my money back, at the actual convention and everything. And so I do, sell independent comics and to prints, and started doing portraits, Zombie-Fi, Monster-Fi, Comic-Fi, as well as
Manly Dishy.
basically. Oh yeah. Yeah. And pretty much you need to kind of commission, and I do anime conventions, I do American comic conventions, independent conventions and stuff up in Austin.
Which is a good point, because don't limit yourself to anime conventions. We're not the only ones out there, although we're a major player.
Are you talking about Staples up in Austin? Or the,
Yeah, I did Staple last year. I did Comic Palooza in Houston. A couple others. All the names sound familiar, but and I'm gonna go to Seattle next year for Rainbow City. And and I see other people doing kind of like the hats and stuff that you see, and they seem to do pretty well at those conventions too. But yeah, so I mainly do it as a means of advertisement, and just I've been doing it full time for the past year and everything.
Well, for me, the anime cons came out of, before I did anime cons, I worked at Renaissance fairs. And I did characters at Ren fairs, and then I found anime cons where there's less heavy lifting, you don't have to wear a corset in outside heat, hey. So, kind of down with that. And from there I started doing a webcomic, and I already had, fans who followed me from convention to convention. And I was able to say, hey, my webcomic, I'm gonna advertise that now. So, I sell my artwork at my booth, but that revenue immediately goes back into being able to help me make my independent comics, because I do two comics online, plus I have one that's in print as well on Amazon. So all the money I make at the Artist Alley goes right back into what I do at home, which is the less fun side of things you guys don't get to see.
Her cave.
Hi, Trinity, it's a cave. Yes, it is a little puppy.
There's a dog back here.
Let's see. So that's our little story about some of the reasons why we got in. But really, sorry, I'm really off of it right now, so I have to collect my thoughts.
Jackie also runs the Artist Alley here, so
Well, I guess that is kind of worth mentioning.
she's totally, treasure trove of information. So yay, Artist Alley.
Let's see. Okay, how to sell an Artist Alley account. Okay.
Jackie, if someone wanted to get a table, what should they do?
Let's see. Go online and pray that you get lucky.
How many months ahead of time should someone think about getting a table?
2 years early.
Honestly, 2 years these days?
Well, in Southern Japan, anyways.
What was that? Like when I started doing anime cons, it was like if you wanted a table and there was a con a month away, you emailed them and was like, hey, do you have space? And be like,
You
yeah,
stalk them.
Yeah.
basically.
But now you have to like be on that.
Exactly,
6
especially
months
for
before.
Akon and San Japan.
San
A lot
Japan,
of,
San Japan sold out in 30 minutes.
yeah, a lot of conventions are converting to that kind of format because it's easier on them. And it just gets all the sales taken care of, done at one time. Everyone knows about it at the same time, or at least should know about it. Sometimes a little miscommunication can happen, but in general, yeah, that's what you can look forward to. But there are still many cons out there that do the general applications. Again, we're accepting applications at this time, and it'll be lasting through this time or sell out, whichever comes first. You'll find that Artist Alley tables can run anywhere from, I'd probably say like $75 to $125, depending on what kind of size event you're going to, or how confident the event feels about you selling there.
You know how much my first Artist Alley table cost me?
Nothing.
No, get. $10.
I was close.
$10 back in the day, 2005. You get an Artist Alley table for $10.
Now it's $100. So obviously you got to worry about inflation rates. But
I paid $400 for Emerald City.
Jesus, why?
It's a big 20,000 people show up to it at least.
Okay, that's another good thing. When looking for an event, make sure it's worth it. Do your research on the event. Find people who've been to it before. I personally try to stay away from first-year cons, but there have been many good first-year cons that have done well for business. So it's really catch-22. You're one of the first ones there. You get your name out, or it might not have enough advertising. So it's really at your discretion at that point. But make sure, or at least in my case, because I am a crafter, not an artist, I don't draw up one thing and send it to Kinko's to get copied 500 times and sell it for $5 a piece. Yes, so no, I spent 2 months on making soap and I only wanted 336 bars. Yeah, so that's your toss up. Time, very time. It's like, you know how to draw? Good for you. You don't? Sucks.
But there
Find
are
something
out
else.
there for people who don't know how to draw.
Exactly. So don't let it discourage you. You just need to put a little more time and effort into it, and you can't be lazy like some people.
I glued macaroni to this cardboard and spit glitter at it.
Actually, if you go to kindergarten, you can do that. Yes, bring the macaroni.
It kind of looks like Naruto. Give me some money.
Okay, so then that goes into the topic, pros and cons of crafts versus prints. Obviously with prints, you're gonna get a lot really fast. You can't really expect too much of it because they know you have 500 of the same thing and they've seen it every single con and everyone already has it, and yeah. Versus like handcrafted items, which can go for more, but like I said before, it will take a little more time and effort. Me, myself and I make soap and bath and beauty products. Before that, I went ahead and I did sewing goods, like the visual cane masks, little top hats. Yes, I sold mustaches. So you can get pretty creative in that sense, and for that reason, I find that people are going and buying more in Artist Alley. Sorry, I'm really right now. Let's see. Suggestions? Thanks.
Well, I guess I can speak from my standpoint. I can tell the differences in like when you do have your table, you know, speak up. Don't be afraid to talk to people. A lot of they just kind of sketch with their head down, or they craft with their head down, and you know, people may like your stuff, but you got to make some type of connection with them. You know, like as an artist, you know, I see, you know, I'm doing my stuff wherever I look at people's T-shirts. It's kind of hard when everyone's dressed in cosplay, but they got T-shirts. If they got cool art on their T-shirt that complement the T-shirt, you know, the art and everything, and that kind of starts a conversation about art, and then I can move the conversation into, you know, my kind of art and get them interested and tell them more about what I do, tell them about what projects I got going on, what books I'm working on, and you know, that just kind of, you know, they get more, hopefully they get more interested in what I'm about and everything, and then they want to buy stuff. or at least go check out my website.
The longer you keep them at your table, the more likely they're going to buy something.
Right, yeah. And, you know, in anime conventions, it's, what I've noticed personally is con goers are a little more, I guess, scared. When I do regular conventions, you know, people, it's like the con goers are more outgoing and more going to talk to you before you even approach them. And but here I gotta make a little bit more effort to get people to talk to me and stuff like that. And that's just you know, that's just the way it goes with the type of environment and everything.
Is that here at an anime convention or just here at San Japan that it's harder to get them to talk?
At a lot of anime conventions, it's kind of harder. And like you were talking about time and stuff, like hours. Like when I was up, I got up here like 8, and I'll be here till probably 10 or 11. And
It's always good to do this in pairs.
yeah, others. But the last convention I did before this, yeah, it was the American type one was, you know, just show up at 10 and everything shuts down at 6. So it's pretty nice. And they got home at a decent hour and everything. But see, I know it's just, you know, you got to kind of fill out crowds and everything depending on the genres that they're going on. If you can come up with something that's interactive with people, like I said, I do the portraits where I take your photo and then, you know, I'll jack it up where you look like a zombie or something. You know, people like that stuff, you know. And, you know, there's a guy, I heard about a guy who, he draws a bunch of different things, like body parts, like monster body parts, and you pick 6 of them randomly and he'll put them together for you, kind of thing, like in a piece of art or whatever. And, you know, don't mimic these ideas, come up with your own.
Yeah,
Because
can I
they
just
would-
take that point real hard, real quick?
Yes.
I want to just, that is a big point. If you're going to start something for Artist Alley, do something that's yours and it's original to you. When I first started doing Artist Alley, there was a gentleman who did Artist Alley at the same time called Robert DeJesus. And he used to do these little badges and he'd do a little cheapy portrait of you on these badges. Well, I was doing like large caricatures. It's what I've been doing for years and years and years. And I noticed that his badges were selling way better, you know, than my larger portraits because they were cute and small and chibi. And a friend of mine goes, dude, you need to like get up on that. And you can totally print out some chibi badges. I'm like, how awful is that? I'm not going to steal Robert's thing. That's his thing. That's what he does from con to con is chibi badges. Well, about a year later, somebody, you know, walks up in there with the exact same sort of badges he was doing with like totally copying his style. It's like, not cool, man. Not cool. You know, and we're not gonna like, you know, bust up on somebody's table and be like, oh, what? But at the same time, not cool. Come up with your own thing, stick with your own thing. It's so funny. At Tokyo and Tulsa, I've been doing the My Little Ponies since like 2005.
Yeah, My Little Bad.
The My Little Badasses. And it's like separate off the pony. I've been doing these things since 2005. Now that My Little Pony's huge, you know, everybody's doing pony things. This kid buys a Harry Potter pony print that somebody did, walks to my table and goes, bam, you want me to go over there and like start something? I'm like, no, but dude, ponies are your thing. I'm like, A, I don't own My Little Pony. B, I don't own Harry Potter. What you gonna do? Like, this is not cool. I'm like, you know it's not cool? I know it's not cool, but whatever. You know?
Optimus Prime badass.
Dude, I thought about it. He looks like just a box. It's really hard to draw these kind of pony. It's really hard.
Well, I've had 2 people. They met me at a convention. 2 or 3. They met me at a convention. They've talked to me. You know, talked about the zombie portrait thing I did, and I call it, you know, get zombified. And then at the very next convention, they're doing it and they're calling it the exact same thing.
Yep.
And I actually talked to them about it, you know, and they don't do it anymore. But yeah, it's kind of, yeah, you got, you know, you don't want to. There's like a common courtesy amongst, you know, Artist Alley participators.
And we go everywhere. We know each other.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
respect
really a
that.
big family.
Yeah. And I've had it where people, they've sent me photos. Fans of mine send me photos like, hey, this guy's totally copying you, and it's like, well, I've never met that dude, so I guess it's great minds think alike or whatever, but and it's a totally different style. But But yeah, people have fans, and they'll, those fans will look out for that person if they see someone else doing something, that's sketchy or whatever. It's kind of crazy.
A girl in Florida who's part of my fan club, and she bought her first Artist Alley table and was all proud and everything. I said, I'll come by and check you out later, I was sitting at my table. And then some super uber hardcore fans of mine walk up, they're like, there's somebody out there selling yours. I'm like, what? And they're like, no, it's yours. This is your stuff. You need to go over there and like kick some. I'm like, okay. And I go up to the table that they're talking about, they're like pointing, they're all like, the table, and yeah, there's like a little Chibi Roy Mustang. It looks exactly like my Chibi Roy Mustang, and it says Plays with Fire, just like mine does. But it's really, it's good, but it's not as good as my original. And like, there's a bunch of stuff that looks just like mine. That has got the same wording. I'm like, dude. And then I look over, and there it is. It's my fan who has her first artist type table ever. I'm like, oh, bless your little heart, So I'm like, you know what? This is what it's going to take to get you to get out there and make that first step into the Artist Alley, good. You're going to find that those badges are not going to sell because I'm already selling mine.
But did you talk to them and say, not a good idea to copy?
Well, I said, it may be best to come up with a design that's not already out there, is how I put it, but they're like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, good. I didn't have to like, what's wrong with you? I was able to, but it was just so funny to know that there were people who walk up and be like, we're going to take him down. We're going to, no. A, I don't own Roy Mustang. B, I don't own the phrase Plays with Fire. But it's a common courtesy. Don't rip off other people's stuff. And also, just really quick, fan art is cool.
But it tears away your soul.
It tears away your soul. Here's the thing about fan art. Like, almost 10 years ago when I started doing anime cons, fan art wasn't that big a deal. Alright? But now everybody and their brother whips out an Naruto piece, whips out a Death Note piece, whips out this, that, and the other, makes 5,000 prints and goes and sells it. And it cheapens your art, in my opinion. I try not to do it as much anymore. I'm concentrating more on my comics. I'm concentrating more on original pieces. Fan art is a trap, and I wouldn't fall into it if you didn't absolutely have to. It's fun, and I keep saying I'm not doing any more fan art, any more fan art, and I'm all like, dude, Game of Thrones, So there are sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna do it, just because I as a fan want to. But to set out to make a living doing fan art, I really would not recommend that at this point.
We have a question in the back.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing as her, that, fan art is fun to do, like, on your own free time, but if you want to, like, make a living, yeah, you do better. You have better luck doing your own original stuff and all that. Mm-hmm. Especially if you don't want to run into copyright stuff, copyright problems too.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're starting to come down
so many gray areas.
It's such a iffy point.
And really, the best way to go find your niche, I'll get this is look around, find what's missing. Mm-hmm. Go to cons, talk to the artist, find out what they do. Don't copy what they do, but find out. Really just take a step back and see what's going on. Don't just be a regular attendee. Be very business oriented and just try and put yourself out there and talk to people, not just artists. And it's like, what do we know? Really, you need to talk to the people that are buying the stuff.
Walk around the clipboard and be like, excuse me, why did you buy that?
Actually, I did that online through Facebook. Polls on Facebook do help very much.
Polls.
Mm-hmm. And it's not illegal to go asking someone if they want to go take a survey. It's a very good marketing strategy. Yeah, although very unusual.
Would you like to take a survey?
No.
Would you?
I'll mark that as a yes on the would you like to take a survey. So, survey shows.
What I was going to say was, is it true that you can only have a limited number of fan arts when you're selling prints? Like somebody said you can only have like up to 50.
It varies from con to con.
Yeah. You really have to pay very close attention to what the rules and regulations of each convention's Artist Alley is, because no two are exactly the same. It's really in the details, so please read. As a staff head, I've noticed that when people don't read their licensing agreement or whatever, it's called the contract agreement. Don't read the contract, things will get left behind, people will get in trouble, people will get mad, and then that just creates more havoc for me as a staff head. And but my heart reaches out because I'm an artist too, and it's like, I know why this is frustrating you, really. But if you would have just read the contract, a lot of stuff could be avoided. Yes?
And that also the fact how many artists can be buying each table and all that stuff, that's also in the contract.
Yes, all of that is in the contract. I mean, and even if you have a question, just go ask the staff head, contact the Artist Alley. No guarantees that they're going to be as good as San Japan on replying, because unfortunately, I will not name names on a con. I asked them a question and I didn't get an answer until I found out all these tables were sold out. So that can happen sometimes. So that's why you pester and you stop.
Forums, I find, also
Yes.
are a good place to visit for cons. If you have questions about, hey, what's going on in the Artist Alley? Who's selling what? If you just post up a Artist Alley, hi everybody, kind of little thing, people will get up on there and be like, hey, what's up? I'm going to be selling this. I'm going to be selling that. Here's the link to my DA, so you know who's going to be near you, who's going to be going on, what's missing from that Artist Alley based on what they're posting on that forum. Right.
Actually, it's the Acon Artist Alley forum that's really the best one I've seen so far.
You know, just for my own self-satisfactory glee, I did a search. I was like, type my own name in, just in that thing. And first, I haven't done Acon in 2 years. But what came up was a result of people like talking about me as if I'm like the evil ghost of Christmas past or something. And they're all like, well, how did Amelie do it? How come Amelie always had a big group of people around her table? What the hell was Amelie doing right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Because she's been to so many freaking cons. Everyone knows her.
also,
Or
I
she has
built my last booth at the
reputation.
Acon was 28 feet tall, so that might have something to do with it too. True.
Yes, it was very outstanding display. Display. Or you had
So, I was going to say about a number of prints. First time out, don't get 50 copies of one print. Try to start out kind of easy, because you don't want to, you don't want to be in the hole or whatever, because you gotta.
you can shred it and turn it in hamster bedding.
I know some people they get 200 prints made of one of their art pieces and they only sell 2 of them at a convention, so it's just to kind of even it out and everything. So wait till you get more popular when it's in more demand, and then you can know how many to get.
But yeah, that's a perfectly valid point. She's freaking out because mom went away. Yeah, I got like 100 prints made of a piece back in the day, and now I'm stuck, 6 years later, with 50 of the same damn print that I haven't been able to sell because I wasn't that good at print. So if you're starting with something new, don't rush out and make, a million prints. Start with something, like he said, just go test.
I would do like 10.
And where are you having them printed at?
I use just a local print shop here in town, one of the Minuteman Press places. I've worked with them. I mean, I did graphic art for 12 years before I started doing this, so it was a place I'd already worked with and everything, and so they kind of, they'll bump me to the front of the line or whatever whenever I come in. And so I deal with them mostly. I know some people, they get their own machine and they print their own stuff out. That's fine. Inks could get expensive doing that. And, but shop around. Take, a lot of places will do a test print for free, because they want your business. So I know some people order them online. I really don't like to do that because it always comes back the colors are wrong.
They cropped it funny.
Yeah, they cropped it. Yeah, weird.
They don't send you a proof on that.
And I ordered business cards and they looked horrible and the box got damaged. So there's like 500 business cards and 100 of them were like crinkled up and everything. So I prefer I like to control it as much as possible. So I go to a local place, I check in with them, yell at them if I need to, and just go from there. But like saying, start out let's say you got 3 or 4 different pieces of art. Start out with 10 each. I mean, even if you're selling them at $10 a pop, you'll make your table money back at least. But starting out, that's all you can really hope for. And then if you have any left over, they just carry over to the next convention. So
What he said about like, you know, finding a printer, and you said that you probably get bumped ahead of the line because you've established a rapport with your printer. I have a printing service out of Baton Rouge, which was my hometown before I moved to Texas, and my printer still ships to me no matter where I am. If I called him tonight and said, hey, I need, you know, such and such prints of files A, B, C, and D, they'd be here tomorrow. He actually drove from Baton Rouge to Acon one year to deliver prints to me. You know, I've developed this rapport with my printer. It's not a Kinko sort of thing. They're a large-scale, massive warehouse-style printing organization, but I was able to develop this rapport with him through mutual friends, and he's seen my work, and he and I work together on comics and stuff as well, so I get a huge discount with my printing because I'm doing artwork for him. Once again, that rapport that was built up. So if you can find somebody who you might be able to work and trade with, talk to, you know, oddly enough, I found that some of the best places, like if I can't get him on the phone, I need a piece now, one of the best things to do is check out local sign shops. Like people print banners. For some reason, they can be like, how much you need? Wham! Large scale, we got it, and it's cheap. Good quality.
Another thing with the emergency printing I found is do a little homework beforehand and see if you can find just like a local sign shop or printing place close by the convention, but not the convention printing shop.
No.
Way overpriced.
Yeah. You're don't ever use the Kinkos in the hotel. Also, Kinkos, just saying, if you have to go that route, Office Max. Seriously, I didn't realize till I was like in a bind. This was like, dude, Office Max. I'm like, what? And I went. I was like, damn, this is not that bad for the money. Sweet. So if you have to go that route, which I don't recommend, but if you have to, Office Max.
How many crafters are in here? Crafters. Okay. Sweet. Let's see. As far as I'm trying to convention and a panel at the same time. No, it doesn't work.
Don't you need a special tax permit to own a table?
Actually, that's a very good question. There are many different kind of tax permits, but the one that you need to worry about is shut up. Yes. And file them triplicate, please. No, what you need is Texas sales tax and use ID for Texas. Okay. Texas.
And we start saying that's
No, it's a Texas tax license.
If you go to a different state, you can get him with that state.
It's just going getting it online or?
Yes, you can get it online. It's very easy to send it to a copy of it into the mail. But you need to keep in mind, if you're going to be selling out of state, you need a sales tax ID for that state as well.
Now, a lot of conventions are making it even easier for you. If you don't have a sales tax ID, they will get you the pamphlet when you show up to the con. They're like, here is, bam, the information you're going to have to send in with, bam, a list of what you sold with, bam, the total amount of taxes you owe. So by the end of the con, you're going to be sending in this thing with, hi, state of fill in the blank, I made this much money, and here's this. And they'll be like, oh, well, your temporary ID number was this, and here's your taxes, and they'll send you a receipt in the mail going, thanks, come back and make more money for us someday.
Save your receipts. Yeah.
Can I make a comment? I'm an accountant and CPA. Keep your records. Keep every receipt that you have. Keep, a log of the money that you've made. Keep it separated when you make a deposit. Make sure you have, every record of everything you spend. Because at the end of the year, you may need to put it on your tax return. It'd be nice to know, that you had the expenses and you didn't throw that receipt.
Me personally, what she was just saying, I keep a big old binder and I stuff every single receipt I can think of, from McDonald's to parking tickets. Not that I got a parking ticket.
Because likely you won't make any money on this, the first year or two. You keep all your receipts, all your parking.
Starting out, you're lucky to make back all your expenses for the first few events. And then you might start to trickle in some profit, which is just going to go back into buying more supplies. Which, back again with crafters things, if you're doing a craft table, I hate to say it, but you might need a little bit more money than, like, say, someone doing prints up front. Because you got to think about, okay, say you're doing plushies, you need stuffing, you need fabric, you need thread, you need machine, you need lots of time. So just try it out first on a small scale before you get into something like that on large. Because it can run, with me and my soap starting it out, I'm already $2,000 in. And this is my first show doing soap. So really do your research, test out each product before you even think of putting it out there and mass producing it. Otherwise, you'll wind up spending a lot of money, no one's gonna buy it, or it's gonna take a long time to sell. So that's just one of the really big things don't let it deter you. I mean, it can be a lot of fun crafting and things like that because I'm a real science geek. I love cooking, I love chemistry, and I love being artistic. And my bath and beauty products allow me to do that. So I found that much more entertaining than saying the sewing, which after a while making 500 masks for one show, I got burnt out really quickly on that. So actually that's another thing. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing and don't do it so much that it's gonna kill the enjoyment. That's one of the main things I have to say about crafting. Because there's a lot of repetition. You can't just send it to a copier and hit go. So, not trying to scare you, just saying these are things to keep in mind.
And if you start out making like this rings that got the tiny little handcrafted sculpey cakes on them with the little glitter, the tiny cherry.
Good for you.
It's like, yeah, I got one ring done. Well, is one ring going to pay for your whole table? And how long did that take you to make?
Yes, on that.
And if you want to decide to like do crafting, solo crafts at a convention, like make sure, just like you said, make sure to do something that's missing from the convention, and try to make it unique and like, well, I don't know what you guys would describe as cool, but say like you decide to make like Sense of Step, those would most likely be more likely to sell because it's not scenting your charms isn't that easy to do. Well, it sort of is, but you have to be careful how you do it. And it's just plain out neat too.
Thank you.
People will think it's cool. And anything that lights up, and of course make sure it's priced fair
Sparkle
too.
and glitter does catch the eye.
Yeah.
Anything shiny.
Yes, anything shiny,
Yes.
anything that lights up.
Shiny, big, flashy, bright colors. Did we go to this place?
What? No, we haven't gone to
this place. That's a dance.
I was gonna mention one time at a con, this guy, we were walking by and he's like, oh look girl, shiny, and we turn around and buy stuff.
Exactly. That's how it is.
It was
so good.
It was ridiculous. He didn't have a table. He like came up to an empty table. He took out this big suitcase, opened it. Girl, shiny. And he ran over, got something brand. It was strangely like we were in a trance.
I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but congoers are very simple-minded. They're very easy to please.
Magpies.
Yes.
I want it.
And it's under $10. It's under $10. I got $5. Here you go.
Have all the monies.
Nearly everything at my table is under $10. Actually, everything is under $10. And so far I've been doing great with that. But also, like I said, what did I say? What? Shiny. Yes, shiny. That is true.
Displays, that's a good point.
Yes.
Austin, tell us about your display, sir.
I recently started building up, so I got like a totem pole thing for my artwork, and that's helped out a lot. I usually just have the regular table thing, and I recently got a brochure from, I can't remember the name of the freaking website, but it's like a brochure holder to put books, stuff in, and art and everything like that. And I just add my portfolio. My display is really, I mean, compared to yours, it's not.
Years and years of practice. Right
So do all three of y'all, I know Jared does, do y'all have tables?
Yes.
Mine's only half constructed right now because my display is from the school. I'll be as obnoxious as possible. My theory is that if your work can't be seen, they're not going to buy it. They cannot buy what they cannot see. So I make a point of being able to be seen from across the damn convention.
Okay.
That's why they can smell mine all the way across the convention.
Right, and we bought one of those wire racks, the ones you build, you see everybody has them for.
Guess who started that?
Less than $20 at Target, and it's a good way to start.
And they're really nice and sturdy.
It is. I mean, that's,
Until you try and tear it down.
well, are you kidding me? The put up is the hard part. The tear down is just like, rah!
Now, it's pretty much everyone, we have a table, my daughter has a table. Does pretty much everyone here leave their wire rack
Up
overnight?
Yeah. Yes. Here's the thing about displays and leaving things up overnight. It's up to you. It's your call. The convention clearly states within any Artist Alley agreement that they are not responsible for any items that have been damaged or lost, blah, 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 blah. If you put up a big display and you don't want to tear it down, that's up to you. If something's stolen, guess whose fault that is? Yours for leaving up there overnight. But, and I will say this, I've been doing anime cons for almost 10 years now. I have never once, not once, had something stolen off my display. Because we're honest people! We're good people!
No, everyone already has their prints.
Everybody already has my crap! But never once has something been stolen, so it's up to you. But then again, I have, the cost of my prints is relatively low. So if somebody were to steal something, I'm out the cost of my printing and shipping fee on getting that. As opposed to if you spent, 6 hours making this beautiful sculptural piece, you leave it out at your table, you're out $300 plus whatever, how many hours. Whose fault was that? Yours is the artist for leaving it there. Yes.
Get a lockable box with a cable that you can lock it to.
A lockbox to the table. With a cable.
Should that work?
It does.
Yeah, think about it. Okay, you get like a bicycle box and you get a lock box and like you just throw all your crap under the table. You bicycle it to the bits under the table. You lock that. You walk.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
I've never had anything stolen out from under the table, but you can leave almost anything overnight if it's locked up.
That's not
As long as it's not food, it won't disappear.
Yeah.
Food mysteriously vanishes
Yes,
from a
it
locked
does.
box.
Or anything that smells like food. I'm in trouble.
Oh, look, Trinity getting the wobbins. Oh, Trinity. Also, get a dog for your Yes, anything cute. Anything cute sells. But okay, here's
She
the
falls
deal.
under the category of, ooh, look, shiny.
May I just throw this out there? If you are walking up to an artist's table and they're selling art or prints or whatever, it doesn't matter, don't whip out your camera and take a picture of whatever it is and walk away. They're selling things. I had to put up a sign with a little caricature of me and a little caricature of my dog that's all like, please don't photograph my artwork. And then my little character saying, this is how I buy dog food for my dog. Why do you hate my dog? And the dog saying, I like Toto. People have actually, the people are like, can we take a picture if we don't take picture sign? And I'm like, okay. But don't do that. And I've seen all these people with signs that say like, do not take pictures with big clip art and GIF of don't take a picture. It's funnier if you make it a funny sign.
You should sell prints of that.
Yeah, dude, we should sell prints of stop taking pictures of my stuff signs. But like, if you're gonna have a warning sign or something like that, try to make it friendly. Because the last thing you want to do is alienate the crowd.
Don't scare people.
Or seem hostile.
Or seem hostile. Yes.
Quoting from Babylon 5, if everyone remembers it. It's easier, you get far more with a smile and a 2x4 than you do with a 2x4.
I like that. This is my 2x4. Wow, yeah. This is my 2x4. No.
You turn more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah. So displays.
Right.
On displays, there are restrictions for height and stuff like that. I go as high as I can. I feel that it's better to ask or beg forgiveness and ask permission. But at the same time, if somebody were to walk up to me and say, this is in violation of fire code, you need to tear it down to a shorter level, I'm going to do that. No questions asked. Because if fire marshal walks in and says, hey, guess whose show's shut down because that one artist over there refuses to shorten her booth, guess who's never coming back to a con? You know? Cons have very long memories. You do not want to make an enemy of
And they all know each other.
Yes.
So one con you get banned from, most likely you're gonna be getting iffy looks from others.
So build high, build, be seen.
Right.
But if somebody says you need to lower that, lower that. Don't ask a question, say, yes ma'am, I'm on it. So that's it. Yes.
Be original too. I use a US flag hanging up behind me.
So all the Italian people are your best friends then.
Yeah, so you know what, and you get all these artists with prints set up, which is great, shows your work. But in my case,
But if everyone has that same kind of display.
yeah, it's the
Yes,
US
make
flag,
your
no
table
one else
look
is going
nice.
to
You
use
have all
it.
this space in front of you. Like you can get a table runner, you can put a few little baubles and beads around, things like that, and something that helps tie the look together. It's nice if you have a theme if you're not an artist and you're a crafter. Just something that looks cohesive and it shows that you tried.
Seriously, tripping.
Once again, the dog. Actually, someone earlier said that they saw a pyramid head and they were about to take a picture. Then they saw her and turned around and said, "Oh, I want to see that." I was like, my dog ate pyramid head.
Because you catch more flies with a puppy than
Questions? Yes, please. Okay, come on.
No? Yes? Okay, well actually, here's the deal.
back.
My booth is yeah.
Oh, I was just going to mention, speaking of booth setup and preparation, have business cards. I've actually found artists that I asked for a business card and said, oh, I don't have one. Let me find a piece of paper.
Vistaprint? Hello?
Yeah. I've actually started making little flyers. I find it cheaper and just I can change the look and whatnot. So I've got flyers. I used to have business cards. I gave them all away, and for years I was like, let me find a piece of paper, and I just write my information down, which people lose. Every print I sell has my website. Might be the old one, but they have my website printed on the bottom. Make sure
to link to the new one.
And the old one got hacked. There's no such thing as a link.
Oh.
So anything that walks away from your table must have some sort of contact information, because if somebody likes what you do and they want more and they can't get in contact with you, whose loss is that? Yours, the artist. So have a website on there, have your email, have multiple emails, Facebooks.
Good stuff.
Your Foursquare, I don't know, Twitters. What do you kids do these days with your computers and your
LinkedIn is actually a pretty good site.
Your G pluses.
No, but actually one of the things I do, I sell something and I put it in the bag for them. I actually go the extra mile. I actually bag up whatever they buy from me and try and make it feel as professional as possible. And I toss a business card in there as well. They're guaranteed to see.
Questions!
Yes.
I was trying to find a way to buy a table one year, and I was looking all over the site for the con, and I couldn't find anything about Barney Theater.
Really?
Yeah.
What color?
Yeah.
San Fran, actually.
Oh, how many years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know if I created
It could have been sold out.
What is it, old hotel?
Maybe. I think it was, might have been last year or year before that, but I think it was like right after the con ended. So maybe it was too early.
Yeah, that was too early.
Too early.
I
Yeah.
just keep going back random times and I never see it.
No, don't believe when you say then it's like, oh, they're selling tables already. No, they don't do
Yeah,
that.
it's selling tables. Now, sometimes do open up like a, all right, who wants to
list.
sign up for next
Yeah.
year? You know, but that's mostly open to the artists who are already there.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to be there and they're like, yeah, come on, go ahead with your name down here, then that's cool too, but that is so rare.
Yeah.
It's only happened to me maybe once, and I've done over 100 cons.
Realms actually does that.
Really?
So
See, I haven't done Realms in years, so.
Don't.
So what time
I'm sorry.
should I
No, Realms is a fun show. I'm sorry.
What time should I check
At least 6 months beforehand.
Yeah.
At the very
Okay.
least 6 months.
They sold these in December.
Yes, Ascend.
This one.
Yeah, sold out in
December
half an hour.
19th or
December 10th.
Yep, and it's going to be the same date again this year. December 10th, we're going to be putting tables on for sale. So, have your money ready.
Yeah,
I know that they have sold out
because
30
it sold out in 30 minutes for this year. When they like opened the spots for this year, every single table sold out in 30 minutes.
The AX, not last year, but the year before, I understand their artist alley sold out in less than 30 seconds.
Damn.
Because it's computerized and had a countdown and they're like, and
3,
registration's
2,
open, and everybody
1.
was like, brrr, bam.
How did their system not overload?
I don't know, but they only had like 50 tables to sell though. That's the thing. Yeah, they've gone a very big artist alley for AX. You think they'd be
And I'll give you
bigger?
in just a second. One thing I want to mention is that an artist alley, you consider yourself lucky that that's all you need to worry about, because vendors, they're having to sign up for the waiting list for 2013 right now. If not, I think already for 2014, just for the waiting list.
I would like to say this as well on finding a table at short notice. I did MetroCon a couple months ago. Some fans of mine actually flew me down. I wasn't a guest. I had nothing to do with the con. They were like, "We're just gonna pay," so they pulled their money and bought me a plane ticket. I was like, "What?"
I've never heard about that.
And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And they were such wonderful, sweet people, Carlos and Yoli and all them. And they, I I said, look, there's no way I can do this unless you will allow me to repay your plane ticket fee, but I need an artist alley table to do that, and the con sold out, so no go. And they're like, give us 5 minutes. Julie got on the internet, got on MetroCon's forums, searched the forums, found a girl in Canada who bought a table, wanted to sell it. She was trying to make like a $10 profit. She sent me the link. I sent her $75 PayPal. Bam, I had a table in less than an hour just by looking through the forums. And then I was like, well, yes, you can buy me a plane ticket. So, but it search the forums. There might be people who have purchased a table. For instance, I was supposed to do KawaiiCon this year, but for one reason or another that fell through. So I had tables to sell. So they were able to sell my tables through the forums that I had to relinquish because I couldn't make it to Hawaii. I'll go this year though. So yeah, right. I've done it 2 years before.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say, when you get an artist table that covers your entire like con fee instead of buying a badge and an artist table.
It depends.
Yeah, some, most often they come with at least one badge, but there are some that don't and you have to buy separately, but it winds up being roughly the same as any other con when you combine it. So,
Yay, thank you.
we've been talking about that long already?
Love that. When they come in, they're all like,
You talked to me.
and then 5 minutes, and then get out.
But yeah, really, yeah.
Every
Each convention
con.
is different, but generally you'll find $70 to $125 depending on the event.
Question!
Yes.
Now, you guys know me, I'm not selling, so, you know, how would I take this advice and act on it a little bit differently?
Research.
What
Talk
do
to
you do?
people. Talk to people.
What are you trying to sell?
Actually, I did the care package program at my store.
And
Yeah.
that's for the guys across.
GIs, yeah.
Oh, yay! If someone has a brother over there right now, yay!
Military needs more evidence.
Military needs
They do.
I would, if you're not selling and you just want to get your message out there, getting a table is a different classification. You're a different classification. Some people are thinking you'd be like a media sort of center.
It varies from con to con.
Right. But if I were not, say, selling, and I was just selling my comments, I would still prefer Artist Alley over Video any day of the week. Still, because like anime festivals, yeah. It's a larger audience, the building will shut down. You can stay out as late as you want at Artist Alley. Whose rules you play by? Your rules, time-wise.
Yeah.
So,
Please feed yourself.
please feed yourself.
I still have it.
And bag.
But you know, your program is such a worthy program. Can you just explain to everybody what it is you do? Because I think it's great. Go ahead. Please.
Well, it's a care package program. I mean, you know, I get GIs with wish lists what they want to see, and you choose something from the wish list and send it directly to them.
I think that's brilliant.
But how do we contribute to that? What do you need from us?
If you want to get something at the con and contribute it, you can do it then. If you want to do it online, you can do it that way too.
Just so we're clear, we're not talking about baby wipes and toilet paper.
No,
We're talking
you
about fun
can-
stuff.
You can send that if you want, you can include that, but what I do is specialize in anime, and it's what they want to see.
So that's great. The DVD and hand it to you and say, send this over.
I will ship it over.
Isn't that awesome? Dude. Yay.
Donate your old anime and manga to the sky.
And where is your table? Is it?
Over in the convention tables, where Sleeping Samurai and the game room are.
Okay. Well, any more questions?
I have a question, and I can't really hear myself.
Can someone close that door, please?
Plus, you can't really see I've sold at a few cons before, but I've had a friend with me, and she pointed out that I don't know how to talk to people. And I was wondering, she said, she flat out said that I don't know how to talk to people.
Well, that's still one person.
Well, it's one person, and if you feel you have that problem, here's what you do.
Keep
Con
talking.
speak. We're all talking con speak here. It's not like we have to hold on a you know, witty repartee about, you know, Proust story along those lines. No. Just be like, dude, sup? Your shirt, wolves.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm really goofy about things, and I guess it was. So I don't know why she said that to me. I was like.
Well, you know, if that's one person takes that,
Yeah.
you still sold. Guess who's winning?
Exactly.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, thank you for your questions. Thank you for showing up. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, this helps you.
A round of applause for Trinity. Yay!
All right.